Hello and welcome to another edition of Through Imperial Eyes. My name is Braydon Leadbetter. I am your host.
And I'm your co-host, Jackson Daleen. Braydon, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, Jackson. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm tired.
I'm making my way through Clone Wars.
That's good. How far are you? You almost done with it?
Nope. I'm going so slowly getting through this because I'm just so busy. So like I only have time to sit down and watch like 2 episodes.
How much do you have left?
About 2.5 seasons. I've been stuck in like a season 5 role for like a month now.
Then I'm kind of surprised that you're taking a minute because that's arguably probably the best season.
Like, it's getting good like just now. So
that's cool. Well, that's good. That's good that you're getting to the exciting stuff. That's cool.
If you guys didn't know, we do have another show on this podcast feed called Imperial Cantina, where me and Jackson sit down with a guest once a week and talk about Star Wars one movie at a time. This past week, we just talked Return of the Jedi with our good friend Jake Magruder, who is a filmmaker and the host of the Top 500 podcast. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of...
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a little fun discussion.
Yeah, Jake's a funny guy. This coming Saturday, we will be talking about everyone's favorite Star Wars movie, The Phantom Menace. It'll be a positive discussion. It'll be a lot of fun. I
haven't watched Phantom Menace in a long time too, so
yeah, I'm excited it's only been like a couple of weeks for me because I just did my Saga rewatch.
Yeah, that's fair.
Keep an eye out for that because those are always fun. Get to just have some drinks and talk Star Wars for a little bit. But what have you been up to in the realm of Star Wars recently? Just what have you been doing, watching, reading, playing?
Not a crazy amount actually. I got back into Red Dead 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm playing that online. But the current
it's so fun online.
It's so fun online. The current thing that I'm doing is making a westernized Boba Fett outfit.
Awesome.
So I'm doing like gray under like clothing, and then I've got like this green vest, but I've got like a brown poncho that I have swooped over, and like awesome. a green hat. Yeah, so yeah, awesome. It's cool. I'm like getting the finishing touches on it. So.
Well, cool.
What about you?
I haven't really been doing much besides watching Clone Wars slowly, as I said before, very slowly. I've been watching a lot of movies, but I've been watching a lot of Marvel movies because after we finish WandaVision, we're doing like a MCU entirety watch through.
That's cool.
So we're like in phase 2 right now. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Those are always fun. Will you finish Clone Wars by time of Bad Batch, do you think?
That's the plan. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna binge it here shortly just so I can get through it and I'm all caught up because I've seen all of Rebels. Like the only thing that I have not seen is the rest of Clone Wars, and I have not seen any of Resistance, and I might actually sit down and watch that eventually.
I think I'm also going to start Resistance as well. I need a new TV show, so yeah, I kind of agree.
Unfortunately, this week is a very slow news week. On Star Wars Newsnet, there was like 4 news stories that were noteworthy in the past week. But we'll talk about that. We have a little bit of a discussion at the end, and then we'll just hop out of here. What were you going to say?
Nothing. I was going to say like the biggest thing we had just came out today, but that was
yeah, it's been super slow. But what's our first news story there, Jackson?
So Walmart announced the new vintage collection of Star Wars figures. They're currently available for pre-order, but they will be 3.75-inch figures, including, as of right now, Papalu the Ewok, a Endor Leia, and a AT-ST driver. And I guess they're, just little, remakes of the classic vintage toys without, actually without holding vintage worth.
Yeah, they need to start doing.
But that's cool.
They need to start making. I think they've done this before, but I think they need to start re-releasing all the vintage like toy sets that go with the action figures. Like there was like the Ewok Village. I remember was a big one that a lot of people had. The big like AT-AT.
Yeah.
I think they should start doing reissues of those. Did they already reissue the AT-AT?
I think they probably have. I know Lego's doing a lot of new sets too.
Yeah.
I saw TikTok on that. It was a bunch of leaked new sets coming out, and like a new redone full model AT-ATs coming out, which will be cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know about actual like toys. Probably, I think the action figure line is kind of starting to die. I don't see toy aisles as packed as I did when we were growing up.
I know, it's so sad because there used to be at Target, there used to be an entire aisle dedicated to Star Wars, and now it's like a fourth of a section of an aisle. Yeah, it used to be like fun. You used to get like the aisle, and both sides of the aisle were all Star Wars. Like one side would be like Star Wars Lego, and the other side would be Star Wars toys, and it'd be so cool. And now it's just a little section with a little banner in front of it that says Star Wars.
Stuff like strewn about,
Yeah, and it's all Baby Yoda stuff.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, Grogu. One thing I forgot to mention that us talking kind of allowed me to remember this, but during our little in-between episode time, I picked up a purchase from a thrift store, and it is a DVD of The Empire Strikes Back, and it is the exact, it is the exact DVD copy that I saw in the Blockbuster that made me want to watch Star Wars, the original trilogy. Awesome. And I remembered it wrong. It does not have the Emperor on the front. I thought it did, but it doesn't. It's actually like a sketch of Vader.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but I just remembered really I picked that up for like $5 at a Savers.
That's awesome. We Alexis and I went to it was we were a store looking for PS1 games, but I was looking at their Game Boy games, and they have the Attack of the Clones Game Boy game, and we were looking through them, and I pointed it to it, and I went, "Don't ever play that." And she went, "Why?" And I went, "It's ridiculously hard." I was like,
the Attack of the Clones? Yeah.
It was just like, it's unreasonably hard, and she was just like, "That's disappointing."
It's kind of like the Harry Potter game. Like, remember the Harry Potter Nintendo Game Boy games? They were like so hard. Yeah, I never got past like the first or second level in all those kind of games.
No, couldn't do it. couldn't do it.
But next up,
what's next?
This is kind of it's not really news, but it's just kind of a fun thing. But ILM's James Cline posted a thing, I think it was on Instagram, talking about how much of a rush it was to finish up the ending sequence of The Rise of Skywalker with like after they take down the Final Order, and like it shows the Star Destroyer ships coming down on all the planets. This is what he says. He says, part of a quick montage at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, fun building Bespin under pressure. Only had a day to work this out because it was late into production and we were all under the gun. Note, scale of Star Destroyer is way off, mainly because the team was working for a dramatic composition.
Yeah, you look at it and like...
Yeah, he uploaded a photo of like concept art, and it was Bespin with the Cloud City with the Star Destroyer falling down. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that says a lot about a lot of the late additions to The Rise of Skywalker that came in kind of late.
It's interesting to kind of see how it was apparently they're just like things were just changed constantly. I'm almost curious why.
There's been so much news about just even in the past few years, like even during the production, about how kind of rocky the whole thing has gone, especially in post.
That's very, I guess, sad to hear.
Yeah, you hear about a lot of the different edits that there was like a I don't believe any of this bull crap. How there was like a JJ cut, and Kathleen Kennedy forced him to release the current cut because that's the one she liked more, and George Lucas was supposed to cut. I was like, dude, just stop.
That's too much. Yeah,
just stop.
Just make a movie.
Yeah, but I think it's cool. I mean, he waited some time to talk about that, but
yeah, right.
It's always cool to hear kind of like these little like trivia things of like when
the little tidbits that they got.
Yeah, how down to the wire it became. But yeah, we just thought that's kind of a interesting thing that happened in the Star Wars news realm. But what is next?
Star Wars The High Republic Adventures joins Free Comic Book Day. I guess it's just going to be a single issue that will, be put on for Free Comic Book Day. But the issue will feature the leads of the comic, which will include Jedi Apprentice, I'm going to butcher all of these names, Lula Talisola, Force-sensitive Zine Morala, and Jedi Ram Jomarim in his first comic book debut. No details of the story yet, but the cover for the free issue certainly makes the case for it being an interesting adventure. I think that'll be cool. At least free comic books, I'm not going to say no. I've yet to read any of the High Republic comics at all.
Me too.
I don't even know when the next novel's coming out, if I'm being honest.
Summer's the next big push for novels. I think the next one we're getting is like June. I think it's going to be the sequel to Light of the Jedi, I believe.
Cool. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, I think I need to get into the High Republic comics because apparently a lot of the good stuff is in the comics too.
I like so far how High Republic has been just kind of blending each thing with the same characters.
Yeah.
Because, I know in the comics, Skier, the Jedi Master, who's the Trandoshan lizard. Yeah. He's a big character in the comics, but he's briefly shown in Light of the Jedi and whatnot.
Yeah, it just like expands on a lot of the characters that are just like mentioned in a sentence in the books, and it'll expand on those.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're putting out a free High Republic comic.
Yeah, especially, to get that kind of out there. So
yeah,
I'll definitely check it out. I'll probably read it.
For sure.
See if I can find others. So,
this is our last news story that it dropped today as the date of recording, Tuesday, March 16th. But Disney Plus, it wasn't like a press release, but it kind of we heard what was going to be in like an article, and apparently the original Clone Wars series, the 2003 animated one, in the Samurai Jack style.
Tarkovsky is his name.
Yeah, apparently. Both volumes of that, the Boba Fett Holiday Special cartoon, as well as the Ewok movies and some other Star Wars legacy content, are coming to Disney Plus on April 2nd.
That's awesome.
Give me all of that.
Have you watched 2003 Clone Wars?
I think I watched them when I was in high school.
Well, for starters, I mean, it's coming to Disney Plus, but they're all on YouTube. The whole thing's it's only like 2 hours because each episode's like 4-minute shorts.
But I was always surprised at how much those little cartoons actually kind of like fill in the gaps for some stuff.
Yeah,
even though they're not technically canon right now, but like it shows you how like Anakin gets his eye scar, and there's a bunch of like, and how General Grievous developed his cough.
How Dooku met Asajj Ventress, because aren't they just already together in 2008 Clone Wars?
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's very fun. I love Genndy Tarkovsky. I love Samurai Jack. That was my quarantine watch.
Oh yeah,
it's all on HBO Max.
It is, isn't it?
So good. And it's quick. 5 seasons. So quick.
I think all of the old Cartoon Network shows are on HBO Max. Like they got Great Adventures of Billy and Mandy. They got Codename Kids Next Door, I believe.
It's awesome.
But have you seen? I have not seen the Ewok movies, the Caravan of Courage, and
no, I haven't either. And isn't the Ewok show too is also coming? I've never seen either of them. I knew they were all older stuff, but that's cool. I like the Ewok love that's coming.
We might have to do a Cantina episode on the Ewok movies.
That'd be kind of fun, actually. I'd be down for that.
I wish they would have put on. Do you remember hearing about the old animated like droids show from like the 80s?
No.
There was like this old. I forgot what it was called. There's this old animated. It was like actual, animation back in the 80s.
Right.
And I think it was R2 and 3PO. And it was like their misadventures or something. Oh man, I'm gonna go crazy trying to think of what this was called. Give me a second.
If they're putting in the Boba Fett like cartoon holiday, does that mean they're putting in the entire holiday special? Because like,
I hope so.
I kind of hope so too. Like, I think it's become,
but it might be in Lucasfilm's clause to never release it because George Lucas hated it so much.
It's a meme enough now that like they're releasing the animated feature of it. So like, why wouldn't they?
I realized I just did some Googling on the Google machine, and I found out that the show is called Star Wars Droids: The Adventures of R2 and C-3PO, and I'm showing Jackson the photo now. It looked like this.
Oh.
You can kind of see.
Yeah. It's like classic Ralph McQuarrie.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be cool if they put that on there just as like a fun thing.
I wonder if that's what a droid story is going to be like.
That's the first thing that actually came to mind whenever I thought of a droid story was I wonder if they're kind of reviving that old droid show. Like that's not like literally, but like
that's kind of cool though.
Paying homage to it.
Ran 2 seasons. Oh no, it ran a season, and then
it was a few episodes. But that was something that I always was curious about. That I don't think you can really find much of it on YouTube or anything.
Has Anthony Daniels like? Is there a C3PO role that Anthony Daniels hasn't done?
Like, no, because he's very protective over C3PO. So I guarantee you that
every single 3PO credit is.
Oh yeah, it's Anthony Daniels, but also besides, there's some like obscure like video games and stuff that maybe don't have Anthony Daniels. But I know he's in all of Clone Wars, every single like canon Star Wars property. He is the voice of 3PO. But I guarantee you that when he dies, there's something in his will that says no one is able
you have to retire C3PO.
Yeah. Because that's just such an Anthony Daniels thing. I have his book. I haven't read it yet, but
that's cool.
Yeah, but other than that, I think that's cool that they're putting that stuff on Disney Plus. I'll definitely be watching the Ewok movies because I hear they're delightfully awful. So yeah, we kind of wanted to have, again, we these slow news days, we kind of like to have a little discussion at the end here. We didn't get questions this week. I'm going to be honest, we keep forgetting to ask for questions on our social medias because whenever we do ask, we actually do get questions. But if we don't, we're kind of dry for content. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite Star Wars planets and just different things about Star Wars planets that we like. I'll go to you first, Jackson. What do you think is your favorite Star Wars planet?
I'm running through each one. I know, like, in the classics, I was a big Endor fan, and like I think Hoth is just cool just because I like snow. I think the prequels hold probably my favorite planets.
Visually,
visually, and they were the most creative that I've seen, at least for the movies.
Yeah,
because like the original was like there's the sand planet and the snow and the tree planet, and the sequels kind of holds on to that, whereas each planet has its own biome. I guess every planet in Star Wars had just one biome, but like the prequels was really strong at showing how like different civilizations worked, like Naboo with the main city of Theed, and then like the Gungan city and below.
If you have to pick one, what's your favorite planet?
Probably Coruscant.
Coruscant, yeah, that's a good one.
It's the city skylines of Coruscant that I always was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I would say that Coruscant is probably the most interesting planet. Maybe save for like, I really do like Takodana. The Maz Kanata. Cool. Yeah. I really love Ahch-To.
Yeah, that was always, I was like the styles of Ahch-To and just how the simple islands.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And that's another way that the sequels kind of like brought in like a new biome, because that's just the island planet.
I know it's kind of a similar like Takodana style, but I did like Asian Claws in Rise of Skywalker. I thought that was a cool looking. The big mountains and whatnot was really cool visually.
Yeah. And Pisana. I love Pisana too.
Which one's Pisana from?
The desert one in The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was a cool one.
And then Kijimi before it got destroyed.
Ilum before it became Starkiller Base.
Yeah, that's actually. Speaking of Ilum, I just watched the Clone Wars episode where like the Padawans all have to go and get their lightsaber.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
I love those episodes. But the first time I had heard of Ilum was in Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
And during this episode, they're like, all right, we got to go get our Kyber crystals. I was like, are they going to go to Ilum? And I couldn't tell if it was Ilum at first because like it looks a little different than how I remembered it. And then they're like saying there's some kind of dialogue and they said Ilum. I was like, oh, okay. This is Ilum. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought like that was the cool thing about Ilum was just it was mainly caves, mainly covered in caves and whatnot.
If I had to live on a Star Wars planet, if I had to inhabit a Star Wars planet, I think it would be Naboo. Because I think the weather would always be like a smooth 65. You got, a bunch of like lakes and stuff to go around. It's always sunny and green. And there's really cool architecture. It's like basically Italy in space. That's all Naboo is. I think
mine's either Endor or Yavin 4.
Oh, you're gonna live on a little
totally
wood hut on Endor?
No, I'm totally gonna live in like a Jedi temple on Yavin 4, the old Rebel base.
Yeah, isn't that what the old Rebel base was? Was the
it was
Jedi temple?
It's an old Jedi temple.
That's cool. They should have. I guarantee you that wasn't made official until later on, but it would be cool if like they had made mention of that.
Like if Rebels did something with it,
What do you think is the worst Star Wars planet? Like the Star Wars planet that you're the least excited about?
I will give you probably two answers, but I'm only going to give you one right now because it's the top of my head. It's not the one that I hate, and like I don't hate it because I'm bored. I am just tired of it. It's a lot of Tatooine. There's too much Tatooine.
Yeah, I can see that. There's just too many sand planets in general.
There's too much sand.
Planets.
It's too much sand. My least favorite.
So would you say that Tatooine is the planet that you would least like to live on?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
If not Geonosis, with just bug monsters everywhere. It's hot on the surface.
I think I would least like to either live on Tatooine or Mustafar.
I think mine's probably Mustafar or Geonosis.
Yeah. What planet has the most importance, do you think, in the Star Wars saga?
What do you mean by like importance? Like,
just like the role it plays in the story itself.
Alderaan.
Yeah,
it's a planet you never see, but like it's probably the biggest. Like at least
it's like the beginning of the end.
It's the biggest in-world like discussion topic about the war. Is like. Yeah. What did you think? Yeah, how did you feel about the destruction of Alderaan?
Or where were you whenever Alderaan was destroyed?
Yeah, right. Everybody heard it. Yeah. What was I? I think it was someone did art to it, but they captioned the art with a quote from a Leia comic. And the quote was like Leia and this other person laying in like grass. And someone asked Leia if she can see it. And she goes, actually, yeah, sometimes. She's like, the light from the explosion hasn't reached us yet in some parts of space. She's like, so sometimes I'll look up and see it and see it's still shining bright. And she's like, and she goes, it's just like this feeling that like she can feel everybody at once. And I was like, wow, that's almost heartbreaking,
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's so sad.
Yeah, right.
So that she has to like relive her nightmare.
Yeah, just is constantly plagued by it.
Yeah.
Do you think she feels guilty, like sitting on Death Star and be like, well, I was passing off jokes. I didn't think they'd actually do
it. I didn't think they'd actually do it.
I didn't think Tarkin had the gall.
I think the planet with the most sentimental importance to the entire saga is obviously Tatooine. I mean, we start out in Tatooine and we end on Tatooine. Especially with the Skywalkers, because
too much Tatooine.
Yeah, I mean, they both basically started their life on Tatooine, and they both grew to hate Tatooine because of the things they went through on Tatooine. We got Luke with Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen being burnt to a crisp, like some crispy bacon, and then we got Anakin literally being enslaved as a child. So there's probably a good reason to hate Tatooine, especially for you.
Be like, hey, we're going to the beach. Do you want to? He's like, no. He's like, no, I don't.
Is there sand?
Is there sand?
You already know the answers.
I don't want to be there.
That'd be a good Robot Chicken bit.
Is there sand? I don't want to go.
Is there sand? Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, I think that the worst. I never said my my answer for. I think the worst Star Wars planet is just the most boring and like is Hoth.
You think Hoth's boring?
Yeah, it's snow.
That's
Cool.
fair. There's not a lot on Hoth.
Yeah, there's a Wampa
And Tauntauns, I guess.
and Tauntauns. That's cool. That's about
cool.
That's it.
That's about it.
That's
it's ghosts and frozen people. Like,
Yeah, and you got the big. Does Hoth come with the floating Ben Kenobi head? I want to know. Is that stock with Hoth?
come visit Hoth now with new added buried AT-AT.
Now with Ben Kenobi's floating torso.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tells you about swamp planets and little green monsters.
Yeah. Oh, one planet we didn't mention was Dagobah. I think Dagobah's interesting.
Dagobah has my favorite ecosystem because of all the different animals that are there.
Yeah.
It's the iguanas sitting in the swamp. You know, that's
What's the Star Wars canonical name for the iguanas on Dagobah? I really want to know.
I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Star Wars iguana. Sleen? A sleen.
Sleen. I'm going to get myself a sleen from Petco later.
Sleens were a species of insect-eating lizards native to the planet Dagobah.
Wow.
That's cool.
There really is a name for everything in Star Wars.
Yeah, right. They're like, iguana was taken.
Iguana's taken?
Sleen sounds like someone sneezing, so that's fun. I'm glad that they got creative with that.
Yeah, it does. Is there any other planets you can think of that we haven't talked about? I mean,
Just,
obviously there's a bunch.
I'm running through like series. What was your favorite planet from like Mandalorian?
Oh, I'm seeing if I can remember any of the planet names.
I don't remember any of the planet names either, but I'm running at least through. You know,
I know what they are, and I just don't know.
Probably
Navarro is one. Navarro is
a cool one. It's probably the forest one from the Jedi, the Ahsoka episode.
Yeah,
the dead trees, but like the mist everywhere.
Yeah, it kind of echoes the Rise of Skywalker in that opening sequence when Kylo is mowing down those Mustafar guys.
Mustafar, yeah.
It's like that, but at night. It's kind of cool.
That's all. I always loved how the editing in that when she turns her lightsabers off, she disappears.
Yeah.
Like she
I also just love the cinematography of that entire thing because I mean, especially that moment where Ahsoka is holding Grogu up to her head and the moonlight is backlighting them and you have the big moon and all the trees are cast. It looks like a painting.
Yeah, that whole episode just oozes Kurosawa and and
the Loth cat. We love the Loth cat.
The Loth cat. Big Loth wolf fan.
Yeah. Also, a planet that I also don't really love is Christophsis from the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say from the movie. Yeah. What about like Mortis? Mortis was a cool planet.
Mortis is cool, but Mortis is
the weird like entity
you wouldn't
planet
live on Mortis.
Thing. Yeah, you wouldn't want to live there, but it was cool.
Because you can't even get there until you're like telepathically
until
teleported.
You're there. Yeah, you don't know you're there until you're there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that kind of concludes our small discussion on planets. This week was a very short episode. It was a very slow news week, especially for a show that revolves around Star Wars news. It's kind of hard to talk about stuff when there's no Star Wars news. But guys, if you like the show and you want to follow us, our social media handles are on Instagram. You can find us at @throughimperializepod, and on Twitter we are just imperializepod. And if you're a YouTube person, if you're into that kind of thing, we do upload our episodes there, and you just search up Through Imperialized Podcast will pop up. Jackson, where can they find you on your socials?
You can find me on Twitter at QuacksonScalene. That's QUACKSON and Scalene like the triangle. And then you can follow my photography Instagram at Deleen_photography and Deleen spelled DALEEN. Braydon, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Braydathlon and on Instagram at braydonleadbetter. That's my first and last name. Guys, please make sure you're leaving that review and rating on our Apple Podcast. It really helps out the show, get our ratings up, and it'll get it out to more people. If you don't have Apple Podcasts, you can check out our Spotify, follow us there, and any other podcast streaming platform. If you guys want to ask a question in the show, we didn't take any this week, but in future weeks, if you want your question to be on the show, please hit up our social medias. We're always taking questions.
Don't be shy. Send a bird.
Yeah, don't be shy. Send
a bird with your question.
Send us an owl. All right.
Or a raven. Those are fun.
If you're listening to this podcast, I want you to send us a picture of an owl, just to make just so we know you're listening.
Just to confirm you're a listener.
Just confirm you're a listener. Yeah. So if you got this far into this episode and you DM'd us or at us with a picture of an owl, we know you're a listener and we appreciate you. But yeah, if you do have a question, please send those our way for next week. And please keep an eye out for this weekend when we're talking about the Phantom Menace with another special guest, which will be revealed later this week on our Instagram. If Jackson, again, does not have anything to add before we forget.
No, do appreciate your local Star Wars. I don't know.
Appreciate your local Star Wars. You heard it here first, folks. Well, until then, until next week, may the Force be with you.